29 years ago today, I was in labour. 7.5 hours I had to push. And I gave birth to a beautiful baby boy who is now a wonderful young man. 7 pounds, 11 ounces, 53 centimetres long. Born at 10:17 p.m. Wednesday. Well, it was Tuesday, the 14th of June. But today, wonderful Wednesday, is his birthday. And this is what I'm telling my son. Keep holding on. The blessings are coming. So excited. I'm Jenni Russell. Welcome to Her Health and Happiness right here on UK Health Radio, your only real feel-good radio station. The #1 talk health radio station worldwide. Available in podcast on all platforms. Google, Apple, you name it. We are here to give you every aspect of health in every format. How you doing? I hope, like me, you to remember that you are blessed and highly favoured, a magnet for miracles, the solution to someone's problem, and the answer to somebody's prayer. Now, 16 years ago, my client also gave birth to her daughter on this date, and that is what I just left in her card. It is wonderful Wednesday. I am so excited. I am so excited because I spoke to Rhiannon Lambert. She's a renutrition, and we talked about gut health, and it was a fantastic interview. But if you've heard any of my social media posts over the last 2 weeks, you'd have heard me talking non-stop in line with the upcoming challenge and 60 days to remain confident, continent, and sexually satisfied, all whilst improving your posture, performance, and body shape. I spoke to the wonderful actor Colin McFarlane, and we talked about prostate health. Now, I've been sharing on prostate health really quite consistently over the last 2 weeks. And so it was really good to be able to have a person in a prominent position who's been in some fantastic productions to be able to take his wonderful sultry voice and share and try to encourage men to do just that. Get checked early so that they can have... And I'd done a post the other day. I shouldn't have shown it to my son, because when you do your own bits, it's crazy. So in my book, Pelvic Floor Secrets, chapter 11 is prostate issues. So testicular issues and prostate cancer. And I talk about those things. So I took the picture I've got with the prostate, where it shows the, like the size of a walnut, then it shows the enlarged one and what it could look like. And I put across it in a curved shape to go around the picture. And I put prostate protection with early detection. Yeah, prostate protection with early detection. I thought it looked great. My son said, nah, the writing don't match, blah, blah, blah. I'm actually working with a wonderful lady, Stephanie Thompson, and she's just doing some wonderful helping us to really put the little bones together in launching our course. And she's like, don't show your son the work I'm doing for you. I don't blame her. So I took that one down, but I think I'm going to use it. But I used a different one instead, which literally said, life is too precious to be wasted. And it really is. Life is too precious to be wasted by making poor health choices that take away your quality of life and ultimately your life. So let's try and, with these 2 interviews that you're going to listen to today, let's hope you're inspired to understand that gut health, the gut is the mother system of the body. And the minute your gut health is good, your health can be amazing. Because that gut health, digestive issues, transit issues, plays a major role in everything that goes on. But also, I've got my spoken word. You've heard me. Hidden from view, not a thought or regard, the pelvic floor, your internal bodyguard. So we need to understand what that does. But we need to understand the prostate gland. As women, for the men that we love, whether it be our father, our brother, our husband, our sons, our nephews, our male colleagues, we need to understand the prostate. We need to understand what this walnut-sized gland is, what it does. That's the firing range. That's where they fire from. It's where they urinate through and where they ejaculate through. If that walnut becomes enlarged and the urethra runs through it, they're going to have a problem with releasing any fluid. So semen is not coming out. It's going to cause a problem. And when it does cause a problem for men, it challenges their confidence. it challenges their manhood. If they wait till they're in pain, as Colin shared, that causes another problem. So for me, confidence is gone. If the continence is challenged, that's gone. The sexual satisfaction is gone if things don't work properly. So let us help you, help yourself. And don't forget, I'm also looking after you women, because this is what we're all about. Female intimate health and the whole person. So I've got so much for you as well. But let's get into the show. Let's start off by listening to Rhiannon, because I think it's really important, because if the gut, the digestive system, is a mother system of the body, then it's important for us to understand why gut health really can be a life changer and or a lifesaver.
When it comes to your health, do you think about your gut? And do you realize that gut health is the foundation of most of the issues people have today? Today, I am blessed to be speaking to Rhiannon Lambert, registered nutritionist and best-selling author, and we are going to talk about the gut health problems that people have at least one time a week. So Rhiannon, welcome to Her Health and Happiness.
Hello, thank you for having me. It's such a big topic.
I know. It's so weird. When you tell people everything, that the digestive system is the mother system of the body, they go, yeah, right, whatever.
Well, you know what? The gut definitely is what we like to call our second brain. And we've got this new research now out there that, fiber is so important, and eating almonds and items that are part of the Mediterranean diet are really good for our gut health. But the research I've got for you guys, which is from California Almonds, is that by consuming nuts and things like almonds, we can increase the fatty acid butyric in the gut. So this might sound like a silly scientific word for everyone, but this is amazing, because this little component can have multiple benefits, from better sleep, decreased inflammation, even decreased risks of cancers like colon cancer. So it's a big deal.
No, it's a massive deal. And I think actually this is the thing. It's like, I'm running a challenge next week, and I specialize in pelvic health. So I'm doing my whole 60 days to confidence, continence, and sexual satisfaction, whilst improving posture, performance, and body shape. And people then look and say to me, well, what has my nutrition got to do with my pelvic floor, or my prostate health, or my testicular health, or my vaginal health? But it has everything to do with everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to think, I'm saying this all the time in the nutrition clinic, which is my nutrition side of things with my clients, that you've got to think of a wheel with all the cogs in place, because everything has a direct knock-on effect in the body. But literally, the gut is our second brain. Now, if you're talking about pelvic health, for instance, then, I know this, for I've had 2 babies and I'm trying to look after my own pelvic floor and things, but also bowel movements are impacted at every area of our life, because our gut, as I said, is the second brain. It's a sensitive area. And of course, many people aren't actually aware. So 79% of Brits have revealed that, their most embarrassing moments include when they go to the toilet and that sort of thing. And 73% of us have bloating, constipation, diarrhea, at least one day a week. If you add that up, that's 7 weeks a year of being in discomfort with our guts.
Which is really crazy. But gut health can have an issue on organ health. And obviously the heart is also an organ, and that's one of the organs that you want to try and protect. And the reason why I'm saying this to you, Rhiannon, is because I was talking about a client I'd helped a few years back with his prostate health. But I actually found out, sadly, that he passed away just over a week ago. Just a week ago. And he actually had an aorta dissection. So he actually ruptured his heart. But that happened when I went to see his late wife on Saturday evening. It happened, there's lots of factors, but the straw that broke the camel's back was in straining going to the toilet. And so a lot of people don't realize the extent of which, poor gut health, poor transit time, and, constipation, can have, especially if you've got prostate related issues as well, the stress it can put on trying to empty the bladder and empty the bowel at the same time.
Yeah, and this is where diet plays such a huge role. So for your listeners, 43% in the survey I have don't know that fiber plays a key role here. And actually, if we're talking about bowel movements, almonds can support this. And, there's 4 grams per 30 grams of a portion of nuts, which is good to keep bowel movements going. But you guys all need to be getting more fiber. The National Diet and Nutrition Survey says that people are getting half the amount that they need, 30 grams a day. People are getting like 17, 18 grams. We need to follow a Mediterranean style diet, drink lots of water. And I think that diet's so overlooked, like you just said. And also, if we're talking about heart health, we're talking about straining with bowel movements, but more fiber in the diet and less salt and less ultra processed foods reduces your risk of cardiovascular disease as well. And that's actually one of the it is the biggest killer in the UK. It's actually the biggest killer for women, which a lot of people aren't aware of as well, for heart disease. So, we really need to be looking after our gut bugs, I like to call them, because 2 kilos of what we weigh is living bacteria. And that bacteria is only going to flourish if we eat the right foods. And that bacteria helps us, like I said at the beginning, have better sleep and maintain our weight, lots of different things.
And it will help to get rid of the gas and the bloating. So I love the name of your clinic, Nutrition. I love the name. It's a fantastic name. I love the play on putting your name at the front of it. And you've written some fantastic books, and I've seen you, online on social media for years. So when I saw the thing saying, "Do you want to speak to Ray?" I was like, "Yes, please. I want to speak to her. I definitely want to speak to her." And I think it's just that, there is so much information out there at the moment, and sometimes, would you agree, it makes our job a little bit harder because, Sarah's got her mate Joe over there saying to her, "Well, I do this, so you should do it." And then, Jim is saying, "Yeah, I do this, so you should do it." And so they just start to follow things that are, that their friends do. But actually, their friends are not them. They don't have their history, their biochemical makeup. So what works for, Joe over there or Jim doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for Sarah. It means that, in order for, the whole thing about the coaching industry, and especially when you specialize in something like you do with nutrition, and I use nutrition in my pelvic health, I specialize in that, is that we have an opportunity to assess the whole person.
Exactly. What you've just said, you hit the nail on the head, and thank you so much as well for your kind words. I think now Dr. Google, which it was, a few years ago, has now even been replaced by Dr. TikTok, which is equally terrifying. So we've got all will it work for me? It's going to work for you, which is a big red flag, isn't it? It's a huge red flag. And only 3 in 10 of us now are turning to an actual nutritionist about nutrition advice, and only 27% would see a doctor if they've got an embarrassing stomach issue. And what concerns me is that sometimes there is underlying things going on. And like you said, it's better to get checked out by a professional to rule out anything else. A lot of the time it's not serious, but isn't it better just to be sure, rather than following a trend on social media that says lemon water is going to heal everything? It's not, by the way, it's not. And damn it, it's not the solution, the lemon water or whatever else is floating around. It's not what Sarah down the road's doing. You are a unique person and you deserve unique advice for your own unique body. Isn't it tragic that we just put ourselves down and think that we follow the crowd and that's okay?
Yeah, and that's what I'm finding that, there is everything that we've been doing for years and years, because I know you've been doing this for years, as I have. And then suddenly it becomes on trend. And then suddenly it just becomes a dollar sign in somebody's eyes. This is a quick way to make money. And unfortunately, people, they don't realize the investment's not in what they actually pay, but it's actually in the information and the implementation of that information. I did a live yesterday on Instagram, and I said, it's really strange when you work with a coach, like someone like myself or yourself, and we give you all the tools you need to optimize your health. Can you do me a favor, please? When you stop working with the coach, can you stop using the tools? It makes no sense. Why would you revert back to something different to what, got you in trouble in the first place?
I know. And I think as well, it's very confusing for people. We when you're bombarded, there's almost a level of overwhelm, isn't there? I think before we had access to so much information, don't get me wrong, it's wonderful we do, but sometimes we have to put what I call our detective hats on. And I really wish people could just hear, if it's too good to be true, often it really is too good to be true. And it's common that we all experience things like digestive issues. It's so common. I mean, if we're looking at statistics, like I said, like 80% of us have embarrassing stomach concerns in the UK. That is huge. We've got 1 in 3 with obesity at the moment, adults. The number is rising with children as well. And our health should be a priority. So having the toolkit. I wish everyone had access to one-to-one help, because, as you know, we've got a debate at the moment as well in the public domain of money being spent on injections versus other areas of treatment. But it's complex. We live in what I call a obesogenic environment. We live in an environment of ultra-processed foods. Sarah down the road, the online information, a lack of movement. It's hard, right? Let's just say, to be gentle to everyone, it's hard, but there is always an answer, and that is following evidence-based professionals and people that are giving you often the boring advice, which actually works.
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, the thing is, I have in my second book, Pelvic Floor Secrets, in chapter 12, I just labeled it diet, and then it's got love, life, or love food. And I believe I have the best acronym for diet, because for me, the word diet simply stands for difference in eating this, difference in eating that, because there's only two ways to eat. You're either going to eat towards optimizing your health, or you're going to eat towards minimizing your health. Now, no one's saying you can't have, and I said to my friend, stop using the word food, because many things are called food, but they have no nutrition. So if we start talking about nutrition as opposed to food, then we can actually start talking about the nutrition that will help your digestive health, as you said, foods that will help you, or nutrition within foods that will help you, so you understand what you're doing. But if you keep thinking of certain food and food groups as being okay, then that's crazy. If we also
simplifying it to numbers, as well. I think a lot of people simplify diet to calories, and it's not, is it? It's so much more. And we have information, all this information I'm reading off now about our gut bugs, it's relatively new. So who knows in 10 years' time what other information we'll have. And by the way, I need a copy of your book. I'm going to have to get on Amazon now.
Yeah.
I need it, because I do think, obviously, having 2 children myself, I think it's an incredibly important area. But for everybody, it's an important area.
All day long. But this is the thing. So my book and your book, we work together, right? Because like you said, at the end of the day, people have that gut thought, that gut feeling. And that's the whole point. The gut is like, it's the foundation on which the health is built. If the digestive system doesn't work well, the detoxification system won't work well. If that doesn't work well, the hormonal system is thrown out of balance. Well, most female issues around hormone imbalance can be traced back to detoxification, traced back to digestive issues, but are linked to the emotional history they've got. Now, that bit isn't on Dr. TikTok. And that bit isn't what Sarah's selling, Jim down the road. They're not getting.
I'm sorry for anyone called Sarah, by the way.
Yes, so much. I don't know what the name's from.
Sarah.
Yeah, all names. Sorry. I say Jenni. So Jenni. The thing is that this is why coming to see somebody like yourself, a qualified nutritionist who's put that time in, who has the testimonial success, who understands that looking at the whole person gives you a whole picture and allows you to show that person where they need to sort of direct their focus. Because a lot of the times with nutrition, it might actually start in their head with their thoughts.
Yeah. And, I think in terms of where to go as well, some keynotes for your listeners. If they want to hear more about the research that I've received, it's by almonds.co.uk. But if you want more information in general on nutrition, check out AFN, the Association for Nutrition, or the British Dietetic Association. Check out coaches like yourself, and just try and surround yourself with the qualified people, and start, if you're on social media and you're scrolling and you see all these trends pop up, try and unfollow immediately, and say, I think there's even a device that says, don't show me this anymore, just so you start to diversify your feed with health professionals, if that's what you're going for social media for, or try and take it away from that and just book an appointment with someone if you're able to. The waiting list, I will say, on the NHS at the moment is really long. So if you are looking I would call now and book an appointment, because it might be a long wait, but better to check in now than not to do it at all.
Hold on. But where do we find you?
Me? Oh, yes, myself.
Come on. I mean, the thing is, sometimes, I mean, just, another divert. There was a guy I spoke to earlier on this year, was going to work with him, high blood pressure, but he's got this to do, that to do, run his own company. I'll come to you soon. Sadly, I went to his funeral last Tuesday.
It's just so
a lot
sad.
of the times
I'm
we
so
put
sorry.
things, it's sad because he wasn't old. And the thing about it is that, I find that we're losing, people are dying at a much earlier age prematurely because of lifestyle-induced factors. Yes, if you can get an appointment with the NHS, it's really fantastic. But can I just beg you or implore you, find someone like Rhiannon and just invest because, there's nothing better than transforming a life, saving a life, right?
Yeah, and there are more options than you think. So I know I run a private nutrition clinic that may be out of some people's reach, but what I also offer on the Rhitrition social media pages is free advice daily, free recipes that you can try. And we're currently doing webinars. So all of the clinicians in my clinic, I've got psychologists, dietitians, nutritionists working in different areas in there, everything from fertility, gut health, eating disorders, and an array of sports nutrition. And we do webinars, which is a fraction of the price. So you can have one-to-one interaction with one of my health professionals at a smaller price.
And where will they find you? Where will they find you then?
Just at Rhitrition, which is,
And how are you spelling that?
Yeah, I need to spell it out. It's RHITRITION. It's the word nutrition and RHI at the beginning, but there is free information on all of those channels. I am sadly on TikTok myself. I felt I better have a presence there. I'm not very good, but I'm trying.
No, not mine. That's good. It's good. And I think just to finish as well, I tell my clients, don't say you're going to treat yourself to something that actually has no nutritional value. Just say you do it for awareness.
Yes.
Treat yourself to optimal health. Treat yourself to things that other people might go, oh, really? I'm treating myself to lengthening my life and living it well. And with full awareness, I'm going to have a glass of champagne.
Love it. Balance is key, right?
Yeah. Rhea, I could talk to you all the time, but I'm going to connect with you on I don't know, I might be following you already, but if not, I'm going to follow you, and I'll send you a message and we'll sort out the book.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And you, God bless you. Take care.
The station that makes you feel good. The station that makes you feel good.
If you've been listening to me on social media over the last 10 days, you've been hearing me going on and on about prostate health and men. And so today I'm really blessed to be speaking with Colin McFarlane, the actor, and we are talking about Black men being twice as likely to get prostate cancer. So Colin, welcome to Her Health and Happiness.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Honestly, I have been talking, I'm running a challenge. I'm running a 60-day challenge that starts on the 1st of July. And it's 60 days to remain confident, continent, and sexually satisfied, all whilst improving posture, performance, and body shape. So I'm really talking I want 5 men and 5 women. There's only 10 spaces. And I'm really talking, especially to our Black brothers, that this is an issue that's calling home Black men way too early.
Mm-hmm. Way too early. Yeah.
So what statistics have found then?
So where have you got to with your, what does your audience know about prostate? Do they know anything? Can we start at the beginning?
Yeah, let's start at the beginning. I think it's anything to go over again is really good. And I think, from a voice like yours, which is, nice and sultry and seductive, go ahead.
I love you so much. Well, the first thing is that what most men don't know is that 1 in 4 Black men get prostate cancer. So I got diagnosed in December 2022 on my late mother's 94th birthday. She passed away a month later. So
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but she had a good life. But a very strange time. I was told about 17 years ago by another actor who was diagnosed with prostate cancer that he said, make sure you do a PSA blood test every year when you get over 50, because it's a very high risk with Black men. And I went, oh, okay. And his other tip was also to eat tomatoes, because they have something in them called lycopene.
Lycopene, that's
very good for prostate health. So those were the 2 tips I was given. So I was, for about 8 years, I've been testing once a year. And then about 3 years ago, the GP said to me, you have sorry, for those men out there who've never done this, you have a simple blood test. It takes 30 seconds. And what you have to remember is, what is your PSA number? So if you are between, Black men should be testing over 45. So if you're between 45, I think it's about 60, your number should be under 3.5. Now, if it's over that, don't be alarmed. And certainly if it's on the first reading, they'll do another one probably a couple of weeks later. Normally, I think when it gets to around 4, they're still reasonably happy. Mine got to 4.8. And so they went, you're slightly raised, so let's get you in for an MRI. And I went, okay. Are you happy with that? I went, fine. So I had an MRI, and then about 2 weeks later, I got a call from a specialist saying, there's a little area of concern on your MRI, and you have a 30% chance that it could be cancer. And of course, as soon as you hear the word cancer, you think, whoa. And then I went in for my diagnosis on December the 20th, and he said, yes, it is cancer, but you're very lucky because you've been doing the right thing and doing tests early before anything happened. You have caught it as early as we could possibly catch it. In fact, if MRI technology hadn't improved to what it currently is, we wouldn't even have seen it. That's how small it is. So you are very low risk. And what we now do is something called active surveillance. So they then watch you, and you get a blood test, the same one that highlighted it. You get a blood test every 3 months, a PSA blood test. And then once a year, you get an MRI. And so there are a lot of men on active surveillance for many, many years, and they wait. If a lot of men don't even know where the prostate is, so but it wants to understand where it is and what it does. I got someone, just to tell the lovely men out there, someone did ask me, so don't feel that the men are ignorant, because this is 90% of men don't know much about prostate. But it is the organ that controls your sperm, men out there. So it is kind of crucial, and it is the most common cancer killer of men. And yet we know very little about it. So I've been lucky because I was testing, so it was caught early. It's not aggressive. It's low risk. But what happens is that most men don't go to the doctors for several reasons. A, as we all know, it's quite difficult to get an appointment these days. But also, men don't want to. They did a big survey on black men in particular, and they were like, well, I don't really want to bother the doctor. Don't really like going to the doctor. I'll wait until I'm really in pain. That's the big issue with prostate.
That statement is crazy, isn't it?
Yep. And the big issue, you can see why we have a major problem, because the big issue is if you don't wait till you've got pain with prostate cancer, you very rarely have any symptoms. I have no symptoms. I maybe get up once in the night to go for a pee, but then I've spoken to loads of men who get up 2 or 3 times and they haven't got prostate cancer. So I have no pain, I have no symptoms, I'm having no treatment, I'm just being watched. So if men wait until they're in pain, sadly, it normally means that it's spread, probably to your bones or to your lymph nodes. So the prostate's about the size of a walnut, and when you get the tumor, it's very, very tiny, but the MRI can pick it up. And what the surveillance will do is watch that if it starts to grow. It's always safe if it's within the prostate. As soon as it gets to kind of the rim of the prostate, that's when they would be going to, we may need to look at treatment, because if it gets outside of that, that's when it can go problems into your lymphs. So that's why early detection is so crucial. So I've had a lot of people contacting me, because I was on BBC Breakfast this week and it went viral, and everybody was contacting me going, oh my God, I'm so sorry you've got cancer. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I've caught it early. I literally have people go, oh, so what treatment are you having? Oh, I hope the recovery is going okay. I'm like, no, I'm the good story. That's why I'm yelling about it. If I waited and didn't do the blood tests every year, then I would be that story where you'd be going, oh my God, how's the treatment going? So that's why it's really important for all the black, it's for black men, I couldn't believe 1 in 4, and then it's also genetic in the family. So it's not, don't think of this blood test just for you. Think of it as for all the other family members that could be affected, because it's often a genetic link. So I've been testing for 8 years just to support that point. I then told my 2 brothers, who are older than me, I said, by the way, guys, do you know about PSA blood tests? And they were like, what's that? I said,
oh, they haven't been doing it.
They hadn't been doing it. And one of my brothers is a journalist. The other one's a computer programmer. They both went to university. These are intelligent guys. And I'm like,
oh, I need them on my course. I need all of you on my course. I need you 3 on my course.
All right. So I'm going, we can talk about it. So I'm saying to them, you don't know about this? And I said, look, trust me, you both need to go and get a P. And I hadn't been diagnosed at this point. I just knew that you should be checking on it. So I said, go and check it. So last year, I told them just over a year ago. So last year in March of 2022, my middle brother, Gary, who's the Bitcoin journalist, Gary goes and gets his test. He's diagnosed. He's got prostate cancer. Fortunately, like me, he's also early stages. He's also low risk, but he'd never done a test in his life. So, of course, he was far more shocked than I was, because I kind of knew the world of it. He knew nothing. My elder brother is fine. His reading was very low. He's okay, but he's going to have to be vigilant, because that's 2 of us out of 3 boys in one family. But that underlines how prevalent this is amongst black men, I then started having conversations with my father's contemporaries. My father's from Jamaica, and my mother and father both from Jamaica. Dad was in the RAF for 30 years, so he has a lot of West Indian colleagues in the RAF. Had lots of chats with them, and they were incredibly open, actually, in their late 70s, early 80s. Uncle Cliff, who lives in Peterborough, had a long chat with him, and he said, yes, I didn't take it seriously at first. You know, I thought they said, come and have a checkup every 3 months. Come and check. First couple of times, because they said to me, what? If I have to have an operation, you're telling me that I can't use my, what?
Matching.
Function.
Listen.
That stuff started coming out, and then he basically.
You can carry with the accent. I love that accent all day long.
Right,
Let me show you something. I'm going to interrupt you for 2 seconds.
Please
right?
Please do.
Here, because you can see, right? This is my book. Okay? And this is my chapter 11, testicular and prostate issues. So that's my prostate with an enlarged prostate inside of it. Yes. And that's the thing I think you mentioned earlier on, is that a lot of guys don't realize that. So the urethra runs through the prostate. So when the prostate becomes enlarged and it becomes difficult to urinate, that's when guys are in pain. They have to look for things. But also, that's what I said, that's your shooting instrument. That's where they ejaculate. So, you know, if it's enlarged, then obviously you're having problems urinating. You're going to have problems ejaculating. Yeah. And I was talking to a comedian recently at Quincy, and he was saying that the thing that happens is a lot of people don't raise awareness until after they're struggling. But at least it's a place to start. Yes. Right. And this is the thing. We have to be able to raise that awareness. We have to be able to let men know, especially like you said, 4 times more likely as a black man. Whereas with testicular, that's much more a Caucasian thing, twice as likely. So it's really strange, but it's about the nutrition. So you mentioned the tomatoes and the lycopene, but they are best when they're slightly cooked and served together with something like broccoli. Right, so you need to kind of understand the information. And,
I have both of those all the time. Well done.
Yeah. And of course, it's selenium. It's a great thing to have. Brazil nuts, just a couple of Brazil nuts a day. Zinc is really crucial. So understanding the nutrition.
There's also, Jenny, there's also a herb people don't know called saw palmetto. Do you know about that one?
No, tell me about this one.
This is a rarely known one, and most GPs don't know about it. It's spelled SAW. And then palmetto, PALMETTO, and you can take it as tablets, but I now take it as drops, and you put sort of 20 drops in a little bit of water and drink it. And you're meant to do that a couple of times a day for prostate health.
I'm going to look that one up. Because I know about the apricot kernels, B17, which is fantastic, very hard to get. I know it's found in the US, but it is a natural thing. I think because it has cyanide in it, you meant to just take one a day. But you've got black seed oil, so you've got, those things are really good to have. But where a lot of people fall down is they never link the nutrition to the conditions they find themselves in. And I've got a friend who started to share his prostate cancer journey. And he, because I specialize in pelvic floor, that's my thing. I specialize in pelvic floor. And he actually had his prostate removed recently. So, of course, then he's got the issues around getting a natural erection. He's got the issues around dribbling.
Yeah.
And I phoned him. I said, like, why didn't you speak to him? He said, I forgot all about you. I forgot. But what he said was he tried it. He had been diagnosed 3 years ago, and he tried to do it the natural way. But he said, I'm a ninja. I like my drinks. I like my cakes. I like my rubbish. I like my stuff. So I said, so what you've just basically told me is that you like your lifestyle more than your life.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well,
that's where I think we have to get our men to recognize.
The other thing I've got to say quickly, because I know they're going to, we're up against the clock and all of that, but just to say to all the men listening, right now, the first thing they should do, because I know getting through to GPs is difficult, and I know men don't like going to doctors, go to the Prostate Cancer UK website.
Yes.
There's something called Risk Checker. It takes 30 seconds, and all they have to put in is their age, their family history of cancer, and their ethnicity. It will then tell them what their level of risk is. And if it advises them to go to the GP, they need to go to the GP and say, I need to have a PSA blood test, which will take them 30 seconds, and then wait for the results of that and see what their number is, and go from there. And excuse me while I cough, acid reflux, really boring. Some GPs have been turning men away, which is crazy.
Okay.
And that's because they think that sorry, my bloody throat. They've been turning men away because they think the PSA test is not reliable. The PSA test is reliable in conjunction with an MRI and a biopsy if you need it. So
Fantastic.
Don't let the GP put you off.
Fantastic. Just before you go, hopefully they've come on there to tell us, wrap up, which we will do.
Right.
So there's a lot of men are scared to go because they think they have to have the digital rectal examination. That isn't the case much anymore, is it?
I didn't have that. I've been diagnosed with prostate cancer. I never had that. I think that was the really bad messaging that put a lot of men off. You don't need to have that. The only thing you need to do is have a blood test. The digital rectal examination, yes, can tell you things, but very few GPs are specialist enough to actually know what they're feeling for. So they're reluctant to do it. Men are very reluctant to have it. And it puts men off going to the doctor. If you put that combined with the fact that men don't go to the doctor anyway, they don't like going to the doctors, then you're giving them something they really don't want to go to the doctor for.
That's right, yeah.
Then you've got a disease they know very little about. You can see it why 10,000 men a year are being diagnosed too late for a cure. We need to change that around. That number down. We got to get that number down. That's why.
Amen.
That's why.
Where can we find you on social media?
Best place is me. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, but I'm on Twitter a lot more, and it's just my name at Colin McFarlane, and I tweet about it all the time. So please follow me because you'll get a ton of advice and lots of personal messages, and you'll know everything you need to know about prostate.
I'm going to message you as well and give you some more information about the
freedom
course. Great. All right then, Colin. Thank you so much for your time.
Bless you, Jenni.
God bless you. Take you. Thank you. Bye.
Stay healthy.
Thanks, Jonathan.
That was brilliant.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good. UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
So I do hope you found lots of value in what has just been shared with you. So men, you do not have to have the digital rectal examination. That whole thing that scares men about having the finger put into the anal canal, that is not an accurate test. Most doctors, as Colin shared there, don't actually know what they're feeling for, and that's the difference. So somebody may go in and they may feel, and if they're not sure, they may misdiagnose, and that becomes a whole different problem. But as I said, it's really important to, prostate protection with early detection, but also to understand the dynamics and the variables that can actually impact your prostate and cause a problem for you. This is a really important thing for you to understand. And as I mentioned to Colin, I think really understanding the nutritional aspect of it is really important. So I looked up saw palmetto. I'd never heard of saw palmetto before. So there's lots of things that I do know about. My surrogate dad, Vasco Stevenson, shares a lot of things with me. But it's really great to find out, saw palmetto has different things. So, it's linked to preventing hair loss. It improves urinary tract function. It supports prostate health. It decreases inflammation, prostate again, which we need to know. And it helps regulate testosterone levels. So it is a good thing to have. And a lot of these natural herbs, God is so good in his infinite wisdom. He's given us everything, natural herbs, herbal medicine that will actually help us to be able to improve our health and our vitality. And that natural health is there so that you don't have to always run to the doctor to go and find a cream medication or opt for surgery. My friend, he opted for surgery because he said that he loves his cakes and his bits and pieces. And I shared this last week, and I have said to him, literally what you're basically saying is you love your lifestyle more than your life. And many times I think we speak out of turn and we don't really think about the implication, but words carry weight and words have life, and words, they have a spiritual energy with them and they can bring to pass that which you talk about. So it's really important that you understand the energy in your words. So last week I shared that I went to a funeral of a guy that I was going to work with who chose the wrong type of exercises to try and get him to lose weight and get healthy when he had the levels of stress that he had. And as I've been mentioning, if you follow my social media, at Pelvic Secrets, you find me at Pelvic Secrets on Twitter and Instagram. You find me, Jenni Russell, on LinkedIn and Facebook. If you've been watching any of my lives, if you're interested in the free 3-day challenge that I'm running on the 19th, 20th and 21st of June, you can actually log into my Facebook, Jenni Russell, and see me live at 7 o'clock on those days. And I'll be sharing some information on prostate and vaginal intimate health, because it's really important, as I said at the top of the show, for us to understand these things. Now, it's also important for us to understand that not all exercise is created equal. And if we do not get your physiological load, if we're not sure about what it is you're doing and how it is you're doing it, you run the risk of making the wrong exercise choice. And that exercise choice can literally cost you your life. Now, what I don't want it to do is make you go, oh, well, see, exercise kills you, let's not do it. No. Poor lifestyle habits can hurt you. And it's really a case of understanding healthy habits that heal and harmonize, or habits that hurt your health. And that's literally just me just using all my H's, using those. I'm a Cockney too, right? Understanding, using the letter H, depends on how you say it. Saying that letter, healthy habits to heal and harmonize, or habits that hurt your health. Which habits do you have? That's the question. And it's a combination of all of those habits together. Because when we speak, we're exercising the muscles in the face, we're exercising the tongue, we're exercising our mouth. But we need to exercise our whole body. We need to also understand the role the tongue plays actually in our movement. You'll be surprised how your tongue can affect your movement. And if you didn't know that, that's an eye-opener for a lot of people. Your tongue plays a massive role in your digestive system, and it actually plays a role also in gait. It plays a role in the position of your head on the axis on your shoulders, thus your pelvis, thus your feet. So it'll play a role in your posture, which will ultimately impact your gait and your movement ability. That's your tongue. So it's really understanding exercises and then understanding exercise prescription, because that makes a massive difference. And then, as I mentioned, my second book, Pelvic Floor Secrets, still available. You can get that on Amazon, or you can go to my website, www.jennirussell.com, Jenni, Russell, RUSSELL.com. You can go to the website and order it there under products and programs. And it's really interesting because when I was writing the title for the book, I had the subtitle and the title. Pelvic Floor Secrets is the title, and the subtitle was 6 Weeks to Confidence, Continence and Sexual Satisfaction. And a lot of people said to me, make the subtitle the title and make the title the subtitle. And I was like, you're not really sure. But I get it, I understand. So when it comes to now the 60-day challenge, which starts on the 1st of July, it's 60 days to remain confident, continent and sexually satisfied, all whilst improving posture, performance and body shape. And the reason why it's 60 days to remain that is because as we get older, as women go into and out of the other side of the menopause, as men go into that menopausal years as well and go into their later life, there are issues around erectile function, issues around ejaculations, issues around inflamed prostates or enlarged testicles. There's issues for females around vaginal dryness, vaginal laxity. There's issues around vaginal atrophy, the thinning, the shrinking, vagina shrinks. All of this stuff is really important for us to understand. Men's is an external thing, not the gland, obviously, the prostate, but the penis, the testicles, they hang. So they can get a visual of what is actually working or not working. They can know that when they're having intimacy, if they're able to remain strong and remain and have the same length of endurance and stay in power, they know that something is wrong. They will go and look to get help because it does impact their manhood. One of my clients, when he was here a couple of weeks ago, we had our anniversary, as we call it, the 2nd of June, coming together. and he said that his dad had prostate cancer, and for his dad, it was like it affected his manhood so much. His dad actually committed suicide because he felt less of a man, and that's so sad. So it's really important for us to try and highlight this conversation, bring it to the forefront, but actually just understand the nutritional lifestyle tips and tools and education that we can get that will allow us to make different choices so that our healthy habits heal and harmonize. So that in our later life, we still have the energy, the vitality, the staying power, the confidence, the continence, the sexual satisfaction. We have the posture, we have the performance, we have the body shape. Because we don't have to let ourselves go. It's not an age thing. It's a conscious decision. But we have that ability to do that. Remember, the value is not in what you're investing to come onto the course. The value is in the study and the information of the tools and the education that you get when you come on the course. That's the difference. And that difference can be transformational to your life and the transformational saving of your relationships. Your own relationship with yourself, as well as a relationship you may have with your spouse. So let's try to think about things in a different way, and let's work towards doing that. If you want to send me an email, it's pelvicsecrets@icloud.com. You can call me. I'm going to give you my mobile number. First time here, I'm giving it 07956 450 327. You can give me a call if you want to. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Pelvic Secrets. You can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook, Jenni Russell. But until next week, in pelvic floor and overall health and happiness, stay blessed, stay safe, stay well. Today, I celebrate being the mother of an older son who is 29 years young today. And I am going to have a great time with him and the younger one today because God has blessed us. May God continue to bless you in all that you do. And remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, designed for signs and wonders. So go have a wonderful Wednesday. Go have a beautiful week. And I will see you next week by God's grace. Take care.